Hey, this Tony Gaskins here, popping in real quick. One of the things I was thinking about that we really have to do as men to get beyond what we're going through is we rather be approved by men. We think more about what other men think of us. And we want to look cool and we want to appear to be a man to other men, but not realizing that a real man is the rarest creature on earth, because we have a lot of males, but we don't have a lot of men, because a lot of males think that being a man has nothing to do with how being faithful to one woman and being a stand-up guy in your home, to where your children see faithfulness, your children see real love, your children learn how to behave as a human citizen based on how their father behaves in the home. That's their first lesson on life. But we don't really think about that when we think about manhood. When we think about manhood, we think about being tough. We think about being able to tell a man what we think, what we feel, being ready and willing to fight, being ready and willing to shoot, to kill. We think about how much money can you make. And number one being how much money can you make. And then a lot of guys, males, so afraid, really scared, but put on a tough guy image and talk down to other men and, get slick out the mouth. And then some guys want to fight, some guys want to shoot. And that's how we define manhood, is who's not afraid to die. That's what we think manhood is. And who can make the most money. And men equate our self-worth with our net worth. So if a man makes more money than us, we all of a sudden feel like he's more of a man, or we'll listen to that man, and that man might be dumb as a box of rocks, might not have any clue about what it really means to be a man. But because he makes money, now we assume, oh, that's a man. And that's what we're going wrong at, is because in our life as men, and this has been the case since childhood, we treat other men better than we treat women. And the thing about it is, a man can't do nothing for you. So yes, you ought to show respect and be cool, but you shouldn't be putting your homeboys before your wife, before your woman, because this woman is who carries your child. This woman is who moves the story forward. This woman is who is in charge of your lineage. This woman is who passes your last name down. This woman is who raises your children. This the other half of your children. So therefore, your children's emotional stability half comes from her. So if you putting her down, you lying to her, you cheating on her, you manipulating her, you using her, you deceiving her, but then with your homeboys, you 10 toes down, you missing the point of manhood. You shouldn't treat nobody. Everybody should be treated good, but you shouldn't treat nobody better than the woman that you lying down with to reproduce life. And another thing on that same point is, if she is good enough to get on her back for you and good enough to carry your child for 9-10 months, then she is good enough to be a wife. Because here's a news flash that is not coming on the news that nobody talking about. Listen, it is a greater responsibility to have a child, to bring a child in the world, than it is to get married. So today we in this thing where we just so focused on putting the cart before the horse, and everybody having children, but nobody want to get married. Listen, in marriage, although this shouldn't be the goal or even a consideration, but in marriage, there is such a thing as divorce. So that means if you choose the wrong woman, the divorce court is not going to turn you away. But there is no such thing as divorce when it comes to your child. That child will always be your child. Even if you're not in that child's life, that child is always your child. That child always has your blood coursing through his or her veins, always has your DNA. That is a greater call than even marriage. Because see, with marriage, you doing marriage with another adult who chooses to marry you. This is an adult. With bringing a child into the world, their childhood was not their choice. You chose to lie down and sleep with a woman which conceived them. So they are brought into this cold world without their approval. It's because of your doing. So if you are going to be man enough to whip out and lie down with a woman, and she's man enough to catch all of you in her and to carry you in her, to reproduce your seed, to carry your child, she's good enough to marry. What's confusing me is how you not afraid to catch a disease lying down having unprotected sex with a woman. How are you not afraid to bring a child into the world that if y'all don't work out, you on child support regardless? But how are you not afraid to bring a child into the world, but you're afraid to marry? You're afraid to marry a woman. I don't understand, because you cheating either way. Like, how are you afraid to be faithful to a woman and to show yourself that you could be disciplined, but you're not afraid to bring a child into the world who gonna need you and rely on you? How are you afraid to get married, but you ain't afraid to do drugs, to squander your wealth of gambling, to sleep around and risk catching syphilis, HIV, genital warts? How are you not afraid of STDs, but you afraid to get married? When marriage, you actually have a way out. You actually could get a divorce. You can't divorce the STDs that you working so hard to catch. You can't divorce that. So you sleeping around, you big papa, you meat slanging. When you catch that STD, you can't go down to the courthouse. Yeah. I'm gonna fill this paper out and see if I can get a divorce from this because it's real hot. You stuck. That's your life. And then here, this woman, okay, lie on your back. Okay, here I go. Catch me. Okay, now carry my child. Ooh, let me hit. Ooh, the baby kicking. Let me feel the baby kicking. Okay, here go the money for the diapers and the milk and all this right here. But you scared to marry her. So now your child growing up, and then your child 5 years old, your child like, okay, my friend daddy is married. Because I heard this thing called marriage. And my friend mom and daddy married. I know I'm living with both of y'all, but y'all ain't married. So daddy, let me ask you a question. Why is mama not good enough to be your wife? Like, okay, do you not want me to get married? This is what your daughter's saying. So do you want me to sleep with a man? I don't know if he got herpes. They got Photoshop now, so yeah, I could ask him, hey, show me your test results. A graphic designer could do that, just like y'all doing these fake COVID results with the graphic design. Graphic designer could show a negative. His classmate could be a RN and get the little paper, fill it out for him, a doctor. So daddy, let me get this straight. You want me, this is what your daughter's saying. So you want me to sleep with a man that does not feel unworthy of a lifelong commitment, that does not feel unworthy of being his wife, but you want me to sleep with him and have his baby because you don't want me to do that? So I'm not understanding what's different about me than my mama, and why you love me as your daughter more than you love her. Is she half of me? Because if you don't like her, you don't like me, because I'm half of her. So what's going on here now? Like, hold on, do you need to grow up? Like, are you not a real man? Oh, because I keep hearing this term called grown boy. So you telling me you're a grown boy? Oh, okay, I see. You see what I'm saying? Your children confused. Listen, fella, listen. I understand we make mistakes. I understand, or bad choices. It ain't no mistake, it's a choice. I understand you made bad choices. But listen, it comes to a point in time in your life where you got to make a good choice. Where you got to say, okay, if this woman good enough for me to sleep with, if this woman good enough for me to risk catching an STD for, then she good enough to marry. Because if she turned out not to be my wife, at least it's such thing as a divorce court. Yeah, it ain't right in the sight of God, but you know, it's a sin. Sin is sin. God can forgive me if I chose wrong. I could forget, but I can't get forgiveness for the STD. I can't get forgiveness for this here, that there. Like, you have to really think this thing through and ask yourself, why are you afraid of marriage, which represents stability, which brings your household together, which gives your children a sense of being, a purpose, a sense of worth, because they say, I come from two people that love each other. And I was created in love. I'm not, oh, oops. Your child feeling like a oops. If you living with the person. Now, I understand you done had kids, you got baby mama, baby daddy, you done had kids, y'all broke up already. You can't go back and marry that person. But what you doing right now? Who you living with that's having your children that you not married to? Come on now. Come on now. Like, stop utilizing your child's mother as a concubine and expecting your child to be raised up healthy and whole. That's what we got to realize. Like, see, this is stuff that this ain't coming on TV. They ain't putting this on. This right here ain't on BET. This ain't on MTV. This ain't on ESPN. But yet our society doing like this right here. Your culture doing like this right here. Your race, your lineage doing like this right here. And ain't nobody because, cause you're a real man. Oh, you're a real man. Oh, you're a goon. Oh, you tote gun. Oh, okay. Oh, okay. You get the pack for this amount and you take it across state line. You lost. You got to look at yourself and say, man, I'm lost. You got to look at yourself and you say, okay, all right. This why I'm lost, because my daddy was lost. My daddy was lost because my granddaddy was lost. My granddaddy lost because my great granddaddy was lost. Okay, now he was lost. Okay, slavery. All right, it's all making sense. It's all making sense now. We was physical slaves. Now we mental slaves. So we was placed in poverty. Now we remaining in emotional and mental poverty, even when we got money, because we still living in a home with a woman, having children, having her have children, but she ain't worth marriage. Because we afraid of losing half of our net worth if she want a divorce. You don't have to worry about a divorce if you choose the right woman and you faithful and you treat her the way God intended for her to be treated. You ain't got to worry about divorce. I'm not worried about no divorce. I've been married going on 14 years. I got married when I was 23 years old. You know why? Because God showed me you need to understand stability. That speaks to why my 13-year-old son has straight A's, no A minuses, and he the only boy in his grade that got that. And he has had that since they started giving A's in the 4th grade. Every single report card, straight A, no A minuses. Now that may change at some time, but I have to understand that part of the reason that he's able to learn at that level and study at that level is because of the stability in his household. Do you think he would be able to do that if me and his mama was screaming and yelling, fussing and cussing? If he felt like he worthless or like he was a mistake because I'm unwilling to marry his mother? Come on, fellas. Like, look, you got to start thinking a little deeper. Like, you got to look at the big picture. You got to understand what you a victim of, what you suffering from, and you got to look at yourself and you got to be willing to do the work. And listen, I realized tomorrow ain't promised, so I got to get these messages out because I don't know who it's going to touch, and each of us got a purpose to fulfill. So if it just reached one man, that one man might marry this woman that he been sleeping with and love her and treat her right, and they may raise a president. They may raise a senator. They may raise a police chief. And if he made that decision because he saw this video and it got him to thinking, then my purpose served. So, hey, unfollow me if you're going to get tired of the real. God bless you.